It's time to test yourself. I've got 4 positions for you. And first of all, I'd like you to tell me, what do these 4 positions have in common? And then I'll get into more detail. So here we go. First of all, this one. It's white to play here. You can always pause the video if you want to just kind of take in the positions a little bit more and perhaps analyze them. So this is white to play. This one is, let me get the right position first. This is black to play. And this one is white to play. White to play. They're rather different positions, but they have something in common. What is that? This is white to play. And this one is also white to play. Now I'm going to go back and we're going to look at each position in detail. But first of all, that's my first question. What do these 4 positions have in common? Okay, let's go back and look at them in detail. So first of all, this position. So this is Magnus Carlsen against Alan Pichot. This is from a recent Blitz tournament. I should say that these games are all played recently or within the last couple of months. A couple from September, a couple from November. So white to play. It's Magnus Carlsen against Alan Pichot from the Mr. Dodgy Invitational. I think it's just a 5-minute time control. Anyway, some kind of blitz game. So I'm not kind of pointing fingers and saying you could have done better. But Magnus Carlsen missed a good chance here. So let me show you what happened in the game. Carlsen's got his pawn on the 7th rank. He's a piece down. He played g8, got a queen. That was taken, of course. But now black is winning, because if king takes knight, bishop takes, and well, that's obviously that pawn is going through. So after this, Carlsen played knight g6. Still winning for black after check here. And now if the bishop just moves away, well, black should be able to put that one away. In fact, Pichot blundered. He played knight d7. Carlsen played here, also a blunder, and well, black took control now and won the game and steadily advanced down the board. In fact, Carlsen could have drawn here by taking and playing king f6, and well, I think we know our endgame theory. This one is a draw. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. So anyway, just to sum up, making a queen loses for white after this. But white can still draw. Now let's have a look at this. Knight g6 is an interesting option. Trying to knock that knight away and then get a queen. In fact, black is winning with bishop takes pawn. This is very clever. King takes, you exchange knights, and here there's a big difference between this position, this endgame, and the other one, because after this, black gains the opposition. I hope you know your endgame theory, and so on, and that pawn is going to go through. So knight g6 doesn't work, but there is a very clever defense for white. Can you spot the defense? How can white draw this position? It's a lovely move. Knight f7. Now, if the bishop is attacked, if the bishop moves away, let's say, I don't know, here, then you just get a queen and take the knight, and white is drawing that very simply. Okay, the question is, well, what happens if this is taken? And here we have one of my favourite defences. I love this. You make a queen, and that's stalemate. I love stalemate defences. One of my favourite themes in chess. So Carlsen could have drawn with knight f7. Really beautiful. Okay, now bear that in mind. Remember, these 4 positions have a connection. You should be able to get it by now. At least what the theme is. So let's have a look at this. So this was a game played in September in Russia. Kovanova against Filipova. How does black draw this one? I think this is a classic. Oh no, it's a rapid game. And actually this is incredibly impressive for a rapid game that black found a defense here. Well, black looks like in massive trouble here. White's a pawn up. The rook is passive. White's rook is beautifully placed. Black is in huge trouble. But there is an incredible defense. And this is very subtle. You can always pause the video if you want to try and solve it. Rook g4. This is brilliant. Attacking the pawn here, so rook takes pawn, check, and rook takes pawn. That's just a draw. So white has to play g3. Now, if rook takes pawn, then white is winning this position. That's too much. But there is a brilliant defense here. Rook g8. This is sensational. Of course, rook takes rook is stalemate. Aha! Our second occurrence of this theme. And if rook takes pawn, then we come back down the g file, and that's stalemate again. Another stalemate. Okay, what if white doesn't want to play ball and plays rook d7? Well, this rook can be chased and actually has no escape. It can only play to d8 or d6, and of course taking is just a draw. If the rook comes back to d8, you just keep chasing. That's that. And in the game, white just decided, okay, I've had enough. Rook takes rook, and that was a draw. Now, why did black have to play rook g4? That's the question. Why not go rook g8 straight away? Well, here's the trick. That after rook takes pawn, rook g3 check. Notice white is not taking a pawn. That's significant. And after this, in fact, white is winning this position. The king comes out and can help to push that d pawn through. That's actually winning. So this is very subtle. This is incredibly difficult to find. And I think it's amazing that black found this. So first of all, you play rook g4, provoking g3, and only then you go for the stalemate trick. Because taking the pawn on g3 makes all the difference. Makes no sense to come back because, well, yeah, black is just taking these pawns basically. Absolutely brilliant. I love that one. So quick recap: rook g4, g3, rook g8, rook here, rook g7, you keep chasing, and that was the end of the game. So we've had 2 stalemates. Let's go for a third. Now, this is unbelievably difficult. Erigaisi against Carlsen, played in the Meltwater Tour final in mid-November. Well, in the game, Erigaisi, well, he's fighting for a draw. His king is very, very active, but he's a pawn down. And he simplified into a pawn endgame, which swiftly led to a queen endgame, which actually should be drawn. Well, no, Carlsen can win with queen d3 here, as a computer will tell you, but, well, it went like this. And Carlsen succeeded in winning this one. I don't want to go into detail in this, so basically this endgame is now lost. Basically, Carlsen held those 2 pawns and cleaned up. So rook a6 leads to a lost queen endgame. And Carlsen put it away. But there is an extraordinary defense here. I mean, this is just impossible to see. Even in classical chess, this would be so difficult to see. Rook a1. And the point of this is to actually control the d pawn. Because after this, d3, the rook comes back, and then the king comes in. And there's too much counterplay here. Okay, so after rook a1, what happens on king b5? So this is dangerous. The king threatening to come in and possibly helping to support the d pawn as well. But there is an amazing defense. Rook a5 check. If the king goes back, then the position just repeats. And after king takes b4, now you don't take the rook. That's obviously winning, but a beautiful move. Rook b5 check. Remember, the king is threatening to take the rook, so black has to take. And that's stalemate. Now that is really rare. King is stalemated in the middle of the board. That's an incredible defense. So just to recap, this is very difficult. But rook a1, king b5, and this sensational move, and rook b5 check. Amazing stuff. So there you go. There's another stalemate defense. And finally, this one. So this was played in the Spanish Team Championship in September. So Emilio Cordova from Peru against Etienne Bacrot from France. So 2 strong grandmasters. And Bacrot with black looks like he's winning. Basically, the rook has just moved down, attacking the queen. When the queen moves away, then there's going to be mate in the corner. Checking doesn't make a difference here. The king just steps up. And in fact, there are 2 mate threats here. There's this one, but there's also queen h5 and queen h1 mate as well, if, for example, f3. So how does white survive here? I'll give you a little bit of time to try and solve this one. Okay, by now you should understand what the theme is. It's stalemate, my favourite defensive resource. So how does white play draw? White played rook a5. This is the only move to save the game. Attacking the queen. So if rook takes, then rook takes queen here. Just an equal rook endgame. Now, the queen has to keep hold of the rook. And queen d7 will even lose after rook a8 check. King comes up, check. Well, let's say king here, queen e5. Queen e4, you can see white is just kind of wheedling his way in. And yeah, queen f7, queen g4 check, picks up the rook. Well, you can work the rest out. Basically, white is winning there. So black has to play queen f3, which doesn't look bad because the queen still protects the rook. And after the queen moves, with a bit of luck, there's a mate in the corner. But what have you noticed about the queen now? It's blocking that pawn. The king also has no squares. So hopefully you can finish off now. How does white save the game? First of all, rook a8 check. And that's kind of remarkable because, of course, that can be taken. Although that would just be a draw after queen takes rook, queen takes rook. So the king steps up. Rook h8 check. That gets taken. Queen e8 check. And now we just have to give the queen. And that is stalemate. See, the queen had to be there to block the f-pawn, and the king has no moves at all. So there we are. The link between the 4 positions was a stalemate defense. It's one of my favourite rules in chess. I love it that the underdog comes back and manages to save the day. Hope you enjoyed that.